Good morning and welcome to First Christian Church. We have just a few announcements to share with you today. Thank you to all those who put in countless hours to make this year's U.S. Highway 50 yard sale such a tremendous success. Tomorrow we start with our Summers Rock Elementary Care Program. We have over 50 children enrolled. Please pray for this program and our staff this week that we may provide care and reach these children in a way that's honoring to Jesus. Plans are already underway for this year's Vacation Bible School. Mark your calendars for July 16th through the 20th. We need lots of volunteers. There's a sign-up sheet in the foyer. Don't forget to spread the word. We're enrolling for the 2017-18 preschool year. Applications may be downloaded from the church website or can be picked up in the church office or childcare ministry. The next FCC board meeting is on Saturday, June 3rd at 9 a.m. in the church offices. Everyone is welcome to attend. We have a terrific opportunity to reach those in our community who attend the Jennings County Fair the first week of July. We would love to have your help at the FCC Fair booth. Please sign up in the foyer to volunteer for a shift. There are more announcements in your bulletin, and don't forget that we keep the church website, Facebook page, and Twitter filled with the latest and greatest happenings here at First Christian Church. That's it for our announcements. Have a great week!
show and tell like this. A puzzle that I worked really hard on from the preschool. And as you can see, this puzzle is not complete. I'm afraid to spill it if I go too far. That would be fun. The puzzle, as you can see, is incomplete. There is something missing. Now, all the pieces around, you can kind of tell what this is a puzzle of. It's a tiger. But the picture is still incomplete. We still can't tell. There's a glaring hole there. And no matter how much we pray about it, no matter how much we hope that the puzzles work together to fill that void, they can't. It's not going to happen. That puzzle piece is missing. And as long as that puzzle piece is missing, the puzzle is incomplete. Now I have a piece. And this is an individual piece. Separate from the puzzle, it doesn't serve any purpose. It's not doing anything constructive. It's just missing. But what happens if this puzzle piece goes with this puzzle? Then it completes the puzzle. Now you have this beautiful picture of this tiger that you can see, and you can see that it's complete. That's what happens. When all the puzzle pieces come together is when the picture is complete. This is how we should feel about our church family. And this is how God feels about the church in general. He feels this way, and he feels like we're the missing puzzle piece when we take a break from him. Or when we put anything between him and us, he feels like we're that missing piece of the puzzle. So what are you allowing come between you and God? Today we're going to talk about unity. The first step of that, the first thing we're going to talk about specifically is the lies surrounding the church, the lies surrounding Christianity. Because our focus should be on doing what is right. Our focus shouldn't be on things that don't add up or things that do not matter. We have to be focused on doing what's right. The first lie that I believe about the church is that people have said the church is secretive. They say that the church isn't transparent or what have you. Everybody believes that there are certain people within the church that have different motives, different agendas. And I believe that that's a lie. That's at least a lie in regards of how the church should be set up. At church, we have one purpose. And the purpose of every church is teaching Christ. So let's take a look at Acts 4:18. It says this. So they called for them and ordered them not to preach or teach at all in the name of Jesus. But Peter and John answered them, whether it's right in the sight of God to listen to you rather than to God, you decide. For we're unable to stop speaking that we have seen and what we have heard. After threatening them further, they released them. They found no way to punish them because the people were all giving glory to God over what had been done. For the sign of the healing had been performed by a man over 40 years old. The church should not be secretive. We as Christians should not act like we have a secret, because our main function, our main goal, and what we should look like when our pieces of the puzzle are together, we are to teach Christ. Now, a lot of people, we get pushback with people when we start teaching Christ. And one of the things that we receive as pushback are the fact that people react negatively when we say that we're the only way to get to heaven. Now, that's not anything churches decide. That comes specifically from the teaching of Jesus Christ himself. God designated Jesus to be the Savior of the world. No one else can be his equal. By identifying Jesus as the true Lord, this is the truth. As a Christian, as a believer, as a person, you deserve the truth. And the truth is what the church is offering you. Church is so much more than something that we do or something we try to get something out of. The church is where the truth is exposed, where it's transparent. So this idea of the church being secret is a lie. Because our main goal is to teach Christ. Our main goal is not to be secretive, but to be sharing, to be open, and to be reaching lives. Lie two, that people say about the church. And by the way, lies are Satan's greatest tool against Christ. I know a lot of people who say Christians are closed-minded. And there are Christians who are. And quite frankly, they're the reason why people have that perspective. Christians, we need to be open-minded. And we need to be open-minded on many issues. But the one thing that we cannot budge on is the fact that Jesus is our Lord. Jesus is our Lord. His way needs to be our way. There's a lot of things we can say, but our focus has to be on Him. How He changes our lives and how He changes the lives of those around us. Jesus should be our focus. Jesus is who God offered for our eternal relationship with Him as a sacrifice. There's no other faith like that. We have to be open-minded. Because that's also how the Holy Spirit works. When Christ died on the cross, the Holy Spirit came. And He is working in your life. He is working in your life. And you can choose to believe it. You can choose to accept it. But that's what our focus has to be on as individuals. Is what is the Holy Spirit doing in my life? Is He pushing me to pray? Is He pushing me to lift others up in prayer? Is He encouraging me to reach out to those who need an extra hand to hold or some guidance? We have to be open to what the Holy Spirit is leading us. And the final lie that we're going to talk about for this point is when people say, I don't have a story. Right? You know, I want to share Christ, but I don't have anything to say. That's a lie. You see, the guys in the temple, the Jews, they saw Peter and John as a threat. But they also saw them as untrained. So that's what they tried to do in order to persecute them and say, you're not even trained to share Christ. But the reason why they couldn't punish him is because they had changed her life. Wow. There was too much evidence. They had a life that was changed. Even though they were, quote, untrained, they were changing lives. And this 40-year-old man was someone that they just changed. They changed his life. And when we're sharing the love of Christ, when we're open to what the Holy Spirit is guiding us, then we can also be part of a changed life. One of your greatest testimonies is the difference that you will make in the lives of other people and the attitudes that you can have. What are you doing with your life? What is your influence? You ever been at some type of a function and this person comes into the room or they show up at a function and all of a sudden the mood changes? I mean, everybody's excited. They light up the room. They may be a little loud or maybe very outgoing. The list goes on, but they just change the atmosphere for good. You know, it's just different. We like those people. We like to spend time with those people. We call them charismatic. But have you also been in a place where somebody comes into the room and just sucks the joy out? I've served on a number of boards, and one board that I served on, we have this individual that when you just pray and hope that you go to a meeting and they're not there. Because they're just not fun to be around. And it just changes the tone of the entire room when they're there, negatively. So what kind of influence are you having with your life? When you are in someone's presence, do they feel like they're blessed? Do they feel like you're changing the atmosphere for the good? Or do they feel like, I wish they weren't there. I wish they were somewhere else. You have a life. You have an influence. What are you doing with it? Because your life and your influence becomes your legacy. There are certain things that we can't take with us when we go to heaven. things that we can leave behind is our legacy. No matter how many years we have on this earth, what are we doing with it? Are we leaving something behind? Are we creating a legacy? I don't know about you, but in the years that I have lived, I want something to be accomplished. I want to know that I'll be missed, but I also want to know that I pass things on. I encourage, I made a difference in people's lives. But in order to do that, we have to be intentional. And where our guilt comes in is we ignore what God is doing. If John and Peter received the threat, they just stopped. They were telling everybody, you know what? They threatened me, so I guess that's God's way of telling me I can't do it. No, they didn't do it that way. They said, I can't help but talk about God. I am not going to stop this because lives are being changed. What are you doing with your life? Are you allowing your life to leave a legacy, to have an influence? And I encourage you, don't give up. Don't give up on what God's trying to do in your life. Open up your heart to the direction that He is leading you. Whether it's praying for people or spreading the gospel, God is laying something on your heart. That much is true. So if God's laying something on our heart, if we know we should be open-minded, if we know the truth, then what's stopping us? What's stopping us from sharing Christ with others? Fear. This will stop a lot of us, is fear. What are we afraid of? Why are we afraid to share Jesus with people? We sometimes are afraid to share our faith because it might make people feel uncomfortable or they might reject us. But let's admire for a moment Peter and John's zeal for the Lord. It was so strong that they could not keep quiet even when a governing body threatened them. It just gave them more courage. And in all of us, we have courage. Sometimes our courage is strong. Fortunately, sometimes our courage is weak. If your courage to witness for God is weakened, pray that your boldness may increase. Remember Christ's promise. Whoever acknowledges me before men, I will acknowledge him before my Father in heaven. We have to accept the truth of Jesus Christ and our mission, our goal, what we should be striving for. And that is sharing the love of Christ. Going on with the truth, going back to that puzzle. You're a piece of the puzzle in God's kingdom. You're a piece of the puzzle here at First Christian. You matter. Christ died for you. And you are an important part of His kingdom, and you're an important part of our church here at First Christian. And we care. We care for you. We care for each other. Now, we don't always show it. Maybe we don't always show it. But we care for you. And we want to be there for you when you need us the most. Being a Christian means that you're embracing ministry. And when you're embracing ministry, you're looking for people to be there for. I've had opportunities throughout my life to be there when someone has suffered loss. And I encourage you to be there when people suffer loss. A lot of people say, well, I want to be there. I just don't know what to say. Don't say anything. Your presence alone will speak thousands of words. Just be there for them. Whether it's the loss of a child, whether it's the loss of a parent or grandparent, whether it's the loss of a sibling or a friend, it's never easy. But they're also not looking for words. They're just looking for people who care. When you know someone who's sick, offer to help. Sometimes they're too proud to ask, but if you push them enough, they'll finally give in. Or maybe it's a long-term illness. They just don't know how to react to that. Maybe they just need someone to pray with them or someone to be there for them. That's what we as Christians are called to do. That's what we're called to be in our church family, is to be there for people when they need us. And maybe it's not that. Maybe it's depression. And they just need someone to guide them. They just need someone to care. They just need someone to talk to. We've got this stuff up because we have to put our faith and trust in God And he will give us people that we can have an influence over. Maybe, just maybe, what we really need is a boost of courage. In this passage, they pray for boldness, Peter and John. And this is the result. In Acts 4, 23 through 26, it says this: after they were released, they went to their own people and reported everything the chief priests and the elders had said to them. When they heard this, they all raised their voices to God and said, Master, you are the one who made the heaven, the earth, and the sea, and everything in them. You said through the Holy Spirit by the mouth of our father David your servant, why did the Gentiles rage and the peoples plot evil things? The kings of the earth took their stand. The rulers assembled together against the Lord and against his Messiah. Going down to verse 29, it says, and now, Lord, consider their threats. Grant that your slaves may speak the message with complete boldness. While you stretch out your hand for healing, signs, and wonders to perform through the name of your holy servant Jesus. When they had prayed, the place where they were assembled was shaken, and they were all filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak God's message in boldness. They pray for boldness. And something that we can gain, something that we can glean from this passage is how they approach prayer. The first thing they did when they prayed to God was they praised Him. Now when someone says to you, is there anything I can pray for? Automatically our mind goes to prayer concerns and things that we're asking for. And that's not wrong. But what if we approached our prayer life not asking for something right away, but going to God and saying, thank you. Going to God saying, I love you. Praising Him first. That's what they did. Then, after they praised Him, then they told Him the problem. They gave God great details and asked for help for this problem. Then they waited. I don't know about you, but that's my biggest struggle, is waiting. How many of us just struggle to wait? We want the answer now. We want it to happen now. We don't want to wait. But waiting is what sometimes we need to do. That's how we show our commitment. That's how we show our dedication. And that's how we show up when we're ready. And they didn't ask God to remove the problem. They just asked for help to deal with this. I think that's something we need to follow. We shouldn't just ask God to remove our problems. Not that we should. Maybe we ask God to remove our problem. But when we realize that this problem is not going to be removed, we need the tools to deal with it. We need to know what we can do. We need to know the strength that we need and the courage that we need to deal with the issue. And when I say boldness, I don't mean a reckless impulse. Boldness requires courage to present on through our fears that we know is wrong. So what area in your life do you need to be more bold? Like the disciples, we need to pray for others. We need to be committed to that prayer life. We need to pray for others and listen to them when they tell us, I have something to pray for. And don't forget about it. I think we're all notorious for that. Somebody says, can you pray for this? Oh, yeah. But then we go home and we forget about it. Let's write it down. Let's actually do it. To gain boldness, you can pray for the power of the Holy Spirit to give you courage. You can look for opportunities for your family and neighborhood to talk about Christ. And realize that rejection, social discomfort, embarrassment are not persecution, but that's just part of the bumpy road to share Christ and love Christ with others. Sometimes we don't always know what people are thinking. And sometimes we have mistaken courage. There was one night where a wife found her husband standing over the infant's crib. She watched him as he was looking down at the very first child. She saw his face of mixture of emotions, disbelief, delight, amazement, skepticism, and enchantment. She was very touched by this very unusual display. He wasn't usually an emotional person, so that aroused deep emotions in her. Her eyes started to water. She slipped her arm around her husband and just rubbed his back, just let him know that she was there for him. Then she says, a penny for your thoughts. Her husband says, it's amazing. Just amazing. She just waited for him to continue to say, I just don't see how anybody could make a crib like that for only $66.95. How many of you know people who would say that? But here lies one of God's greatest miracles, as the father is looking into the crib and seeing his child. But he didn't see that. He saw the framework. He's not unique. Many people look at God's handiwork and we only see the outside manifestations. We only see the outside framework. We only see what's on the outside. Whether it's the miracle of the birth of a new baby or a miracle of the birth of a new Christian, there are many who only see the framework and miss the miracle that lies within. God's Word tells us that something very exceptional lies within each Christian. Just like each piece of the puzzle has a purpose, has a place. Every Christian has a purpose and has a place. And that's where the gift becomes the miracle that lies within each and every one of us. And that gift, that miracle, is why we can't help but share. Spiritual unity is a must. As we wrap up in this passage, starting in verse 32, now a large group of those who believed were one heart and mind. No one said that any of his possessions was his own, but instead they held everything in common. The apostles were giving testimony with great power to the resurrection of the Lord, and the great grace was on all of them. For there was not a needy person among them, because all those who owned the lands or the houses and sold them, they brought the proceeds of the things of which they sold and laid them at the apostles' feet. Then they distribute to each person's basic needs. When we talk about church family, the reality is there's going to be difference of opinion. That's just inevitable. That's part of who we are as humans. It's part of our personalities. And sometimes we can handle it. Sometimes it's the way we handle the difference of opinion that actually causes the issue. But spiritual unity is essential. It's a must. We have to be committed to God, and we have to be committed to His Word, and we have to be committed to each other. Without spiritual unity, the church cannot survive. Paul's urging the church at Corinth to continue to practice unity. So what can we gain from this? Well, we have to continue to practice unity. The thing about the early church is when one of their brothers and sisters was in need, they came and they were there. They didn't care about social status. They didn't care about how much money they made. They just wanted to be there. That's what the church is called to be. It's be about ministry. The church is not called to be about programs. The church is not called to create a feel-good feeling. The church is called to make a difference. And each and every one of us is called to make a difference in the lives that we share with. And we have to start by focusing on ministry, focusing in on those that we need to reach out to. Whether it's someone who lost a loved one and just being there for them, whether it's somebody who needs praying and praying for them. We have to display ministry. And we have to do it willingly. And we can't sit around and wait for someone to ask. It's something that we have to decide. And as a church family, we have to come together and be there for one another. Be there for the people that we share our lives with, so that we can make a difference. One of the most famous man-made structures in the world actually is ancient. It's the pyramids of Giza Plateau. They're very well known. And the pyramids were a burial for a king, for a pharaoh. But as you see the pyramids, one thing that you may or may not understand, or may or might not know, is this was a national project. Every person gave money. Every person sent food. Every family sent someone to do the work. And the whole entire nation of Egypt would come together and build this magnificent structure for their king, for their God. And they would work so hard, and they would build this structure, and they would finish the structure with a capstone that was encased with gold. And they put it on the very top of the pyramid. But when they would do that, they would have this huge celebration. Everybody was excited for what they did together. Now I know that that's their God, and we have our God, and we believe our God's the one true God. But I believe that we can really learn a lot from this experience. Unity derives from shared vision, from a common purpose, that we are to teach Christ and share Christ with others. Just as there are great differences among all the Egyptian workers, they still worked together because they had a common task, a common goal, and they wanted to achieve something great. For God's church here at First Christian, we have to have the same perspective. We can't fight amongst each other. We can't lose focus on why we're here. A lot of times we do that. We get so busy with life that we fail to see our purpose, why we're here. But I'm telling you, this is your purpose. To be there for your church family, to be there for your family, your friends, the people you share your life with, and to teach Christ. Whether it's telling your child a story before bedtime, or whether it's sharing love with Christ with somebody who has just reached the end of the road. We are called to reach out. We are called to minister. We are called to make a difference, to have an influence, and to leave a legacy. When unity and the Holy Spirit come together, they make a major difference in our lives and in our church. And we have to be committed to God. We've got to be committed to one another, and committed to our own spiritual growth. Reflecting back, the musicians are going to come forward, they're going to get ready. As we just reflect back for a moment what was discussed today. You know, oftentimes Christians are described as secretive, as close-minded, and we don't have anything to offer. And those are all lies. We need to be open. Because we do have something to offer. We offer the truth. We offer faith. We offer hope and a reason to exist. Now, when we have the truth, we need to speak it in love. But we also should be faithful in our prayer life, asking for boldness, asking for courage, to be there when our friends and family needs us the most. But just like that puzzle that I shared with you earlier, we have to be together. We have to stand united. I read earlier, in the late 1800s, when the Statue of Liberty was brought over, you can see how magnificent that structure was. It was brought over in 350 different pieces, in over 200 boxes. Can you imagine the hard work that it took to put all that together? Now you have this magnificent structure that has stood the test of time. That took a lot of teamwork. That took a lot of work to come together. But one of the things it did take was unity. And now, it's a statue not only of liberty, as the name includes, but it's a monument of unity. People coming together and putting this complicated puzzle piece together. Unity. Standing united. Every one of those 350 pieces were important, just as every person in our church is important. I want to leave you with a quote. Unity is strength. And when there is teamwork and collaboration, wonderful things can be achieved. And I know they felt that way. When they saw all those pieces of the Statue of Liberty, when they saw all 200 boxes, they thought, oh boy, it's going to take some work. But I can't imagine what they thought when they took a step back and saw what they had created. Just like with this puzzle. Every piece is in place. Every piece is there. You take one piece out and it's incomplete. Every piece has its place. Every piece has a purpose. That's how we should be about our church. We all have a place. We all have a purpose. And we're together. Common view, common goal. We will make a beautiful picture. Because it's not about us. It's about our Lord. It's not about what we can do, but what difference can we make with God leading our way. As we come in into this final moments of worship, we have things that we face. If we've never given our life to the Lord, we need to do so. We need to be baptized. If we're looking for a church family, we need to bond together and complete the puzzle. We just need prayer. We'd love to pray with you. You can pray up here. We can stay with you. This is our time of decision. This is our time of worship, our time to be between us and God. Let's stand as we sing.